should be live. Should be live. Let me get everything. We are covering currently some or an active confirmed tornado here, just pushing out into southwestern. This will be Walker County, in northwest Georgia, just to the west of Center Post, Georgia, Mount Carmel, and to the south and west of Lafayette, Georgia. And this polygon here is for that tornado, that confirmed tornado. I just want to make a couple of disclaimers. This is my first time doing a live stream, so please do bear with me. I'm trying to get the word out right now. We've had a power outage at the geography building that was unplanned, and so uh, okay. Yeah, so let's get right into this. I'm sorry again for the abrupt starting here. Again, this is a very dangerous storm here in southwestern Walker County in northwest Georgia. The tornado warning is confirmed. Actually, I do apologize. This has just went radar indicated again. That is good news in the fact that this rotation does appear to have broadened out. Let's check the base velocity here. Green is towards the radar, red is away, so this really tells us about any rotation occurring in the storm. And I do apologize, I'm trying to quadruple task right now. Um, so my friends in joining me here on the Weatherdawgs can help get the word out for this rapidly unfolding severe weather situation in northwestern Georgia. Let's take a look at this situation. Our friends in Tennessee today have been under the gun nonstop with violent tornadoes. One very violent one up and around Murfreesboro, Tennessee earlier today. Our friends in Alabama have been dealing with this as well, and looks like Georgia is the next under the gun here. Again, we're watching this tornado warning here. There are several severe thunderstorm warnings as well here. This one here for Dade, Walker, and I believe this is actually I'm from Southwest Georgia. Let me pull up the county map here so I can give you guys uh, proper county names. I do apologize. Bear with me as we get this set up. I'll be much more able to effectively convey these names. So, looks like this warning here is for extreme eastern Dade County, Walker and Catoosa, and a little bit here of Whitfield County. Uh, and the more interesting, I say, but nonetheless uh, more important right now, more pressing issue is this tornado warning here for extreme southern Dade County, Walker County, and pushing east into uh, central and eventually eastern Walker County. Some towns under the gun here are Mount Carmel, however you say it, Center Post, and Lafayette. The cities there under the gun with this storm. It is looking to possibly be broadening out. I'm also trying to keep up with the chats too, so if you have any questions, please do post them. I only have two screens, unfortunately, so I have two screens and about 7 windows open, so I am working overtime here. So this is an all modes possible severe weather event, damaging winds, tornadoes, and even some large hail here. We have report here of inch and a 3/4 hail here from emergency management in Dade County around I-59. Again, let's not get lost in any one area. This is a level 4 out of 5 event for this particular area, meaning and a moderate risk. There is the potential for tornadoes, which is our biggest threat right now that we're trying to keep you guys informed on. Um, keep up with this here. And I just want to plug our entire Weatherdawgs team right now. I want to give them a shout out. They are doing a great job uh, helping me, helping you guys keep up with this outbreak as it progresses. Again, we do apologize on behalf of our viewers about the kind of late introduction here. Again, we were dealing with a power out that caught everybody off, power outage that caught everyone off guard, and we were not planning for that, but we have since recovered, obviously, or I wouldn't be here in the geography building in Athens. Let's check this warning again. I'm just keeping up with the National Weather Service here and their current situation report on this warning. It does appear that this warning is still radar indicated, and I do believe I agree with that, as it does appear that the rotation has since broadened out. It could be trying to cycle here in the latest scan, but I don't want to get lost in just tornadoes here. This is going to be a flash flood issue eventually. Obviously some very heavy precipitation occurring with these storms. This will also push some very strong winds. We've had warnings in excess of 60 miles per hour today. Another problem with these storms is they're very slow moving. They are not moving very fast at all. 35 miles an hour with this type of precipitation can spell disaster for low-lying areas. So make sure you are aware of the situation that you are in, and then you should be fine. Remember, with tornadoes, we want the center room, or well, better to say, we want the most space between you and the outside of your house. If you are in a mobile home, I do not care if you have the top of the line straps on it. You need to get out of it. It is a death trap. Cars, same thing. You should be in a sturdy building. If you have to go to your neighbor's house, you have to go to your neighbor's house. I'm sure you can find somewhere to go that is not a mobile home or a car. And obviously underground is the crown jewel of where you should be during a tornado. So if you have a basement, that would be optimal, but not necessary. You can still be safe if you take precautions by getting to the center room of your house. And just to put that spill out there. Okay. So just regrouping here, it looks like we have a broadening of the circulation, which is good. Sure, there is still some very strong winds, especially east of both Mount Carmel, I'm going to say Carmel, Mount Carmel and Center Post, Georgia, in Walker County. Lafayette, you are in this warning as well. Or you're on the very edge, but let's just say you're in the warning. You're close enough to be in shelter, and so make sure you heed this. And it looks like we just had a new warning issued, a new severe thunderstorm warning, that is, for northern Dade County, including Morganville and Trenton on I-59, Chickamauga, I believe, and even extending as far east as Ringgold, Georgia. Rock Spring, you are also in 2 warnings now. Just make sure you are in a safe place. Please remember also that with severe thunderstorms, straight line winds are also another major problem. So this storm in particular has 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts recorded with it. Okay. And just to kind of look at what might be coming our way, these green boxes up here, these are flash flood warnings, and this one here is actually a flash flood emergency. So there are extreme precipitation rates occurring with these storms. They are not moving very fast. Again, when we talk about flooding, we look at 2 things. We look at the rate of the rainfall, so how strong, how heavy the rain is. We also look at how slow, or the speed of the storm. Is it moving slow? Is it moving fast? A storm that is not moving but is raining steadily can also produce flash flooding. These here are both heavy and slow, so that tells you what the problem is here. And do not worry, I am keeping an eye on this circulation here. It does not look like it is being extended. As a matter of fact, I do believe this warning is being allowed to expire. I do believe it is being allowed to expire. That is great news for these people here. It's got a few people joining us here.
I know. I walked in with some food with cigarette.
And just to reiterate, we will hopefully be getting everything set up. We're still recovering from the power outage that I was talking about, so we should be getting our camera stuff set up hopefully soon, especially for the storms that roll in a little later. We can keep the coverage rolling, hopefully with our software, so we can actually have a person standing in front of it and pointing. I do realize that this is not the optimal streaming method, but
I might in a little bit, but as long as everything's fine down here.
checking the chat really quickly, make sure that we got. Okay. Just in from some of our atmospheric science students here, there is a storm near Huntsville, Alabama that is trying to produce a tornado. And the reason I tell you that is because that storm is proceeding towards Georgia and will eventually be a problem for us if it continues to maintain strength. And let's also keep an eye out on this storm here. I, I, let me double check to make sure this warning has been canceled. This software is acting a little weird. So this tornado warning has been allowed to expire. It is no longer there. So don't worry about this warning. It has been canceled by the National Weather Service in Peachtree City. But there is always the chance that this storm could ramp back up and tighten. And of course, if that occurs, we will let you know immediately as we get that warning information in. But that is not to say that we are not still under the gun here with these intense severe thunderstorm warnings for most of the northwestern Georgia counties, including Dade, Walker, Catoosa, and Whitfield counties. And these are the cities of Ringgold, Rock Spring, Chickamauga, Morganville, Trenton, Cooper Heights, Lafayette, Mount Carmel, and Center Post, Georgia. And if you are traveling on I-59 between really anywhere in northwest Georgia, you should take precautions because you are under threat from some very strong winds that can easily flip vehicles. Okay, so it looks like one of those severe thunderstorm warnings were canceled or was canceled here, but these two remain. Again, these are rather large severe thunderstorm warnings covering a large portion of northwestern Georgia. And these storms are in a prime environment to wrap up and produce tornadoes. Not saying that it will, not saying that you will even see one, but the pure fact that they are able to do so is enough for you to be taking it seriously. Make sure you have your safety plan ready to go, your safe place. Make sure you know where to go, and you will be just fine. And these storms in Alabama here, as you can see, with these tornado warnings, are certainly capable of producing tornadoes. And this one in Huntsville has produced a tornado. It is confirmed now. And I'm only telling you this because we need to be looking at what is coming into our area later on as we continue to deal with these severe thunderstorm warnings. Is this up? It's going good on YouTube.
What was that?
Is this up? Like everything's okay? Good. I'm just making sure. Haven't got any chats. I don't know how many people are watching. Were they able to put it on Facebook?
Yeah, we're on there
Great,
now.
great, awesome. I can see chat as well. It's just a little bit difficult with OBS.
Mhm.
And whenever y'all are ready to do your thing, we can.
We probably won't do anything until it gets a little closer in.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to. These storms are. Yeah, they're wrapping up.
This is a good caption. I just took this out off of YouTube. Live coverage from UGA link, whatever.
Does it say what I put, like the weather? Okay, great. Okay, I'm just making sure. I was trying to get the algorithm to bolster us.
No. Just post it.
Alright.
No.
So one last little update here before I kind of pause the audio here and put this on just showing radar as a live stream so you can see your town here in Northwest Georgia. I just want to give a little bit of an overview of the situation for those of you that are tuning in. We are under a level, or sorry, Northwest Georgia is under a level 4 out of 5 moderate risk with all modes at play tonight. That means tornadoes, large hail, and damaging straight line winds. These storms that are moving into the area are primed for tornado production, and there are a few confirmed tornadoes in Alabama as we speak, and of course those storms are moving east into our area. So just be weather aware. Make sure you are understanding that this is not a tornado only situation. There are the ingredients for damaging straight line winds as well, and straight line winds can be just as, if not more, sometimes damaging than a weak tornado, especially when you get into the 60, 70 mile per hour range, as some of these storms have managed to do today. So I'm going to mute the audio and my beautiful face here, and leave you guys with the radar until we see any other concerning storms start to wrap up. This is again for your benefit here. I'm just going to leave the radar up. I will turn this second panel off because that is velocity, and we will leave you with a view of northern Georgia. Again, these red boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings, and these cities we have mentioned already, and again that includes Lafayette. Let's just say Dalton. Dalton, you are close enough. You're right on the border. Mount Carmel, Center Post, and these cities here. And I will leave this up for now. There are no other active warnings for Georgia, and if there are, we will tune in and let you know. All right, so I'm going to turn this off now. So, all right, let me get back. So, welcome back. As promised, we're back here with another tornado warning. This one is for the cities of Dalton, Tilton, Phelps, Spring Place, Chatsworth, um, Eaton, I believe, at Eaton, and Ramhurst, Georgia. Here in northwest Georgia. Again, this is a new tornado warning. Looks like, again, so here, let me give you some town community names. Dalton, Chatsworth, Eaton, or Eton, I do apologize for the name pronunciation there. Crandall, Conasauga Lake, Mill Creek, Trails Creek, Donville, Ramhurst, and Fort Mountain State Park, Tilton, and North Georgia Speedway. These places are under a tornado warning right now. Uh, Luckily, the warning is still radar indicated, meaning that there is no confirmed tornado. But that does not mean that you do not take shelter. You should take shelter and treat this as if there is a tornado on the ground. We will check velocity here and see if we can see this couplet. It is starting to move. It is just to the north and west of Phelps here, the city of Phelps, and to the south and west of Dalton, Georgia. Looks to be passing somewhere between Dalton and Phelps here in this area. I'm trying to find the name of this road. So, yeah, this is 75. So it looks to have just crossed Interstate 75 between Dalton and Phelps, Georgia. Let's keep this up here. Yeah, so this is the couplet that the Weather Service has deemed as possible. Tornado or tornadic formation here. There might be a tornado associated with this storm very soon. Let me pull up a second panel here for reflectivity so we can get a little bit of a better view here. Let's check our trusty correlation coefficient here. I'm not seeing a lowering in this product yet. This product is good for diagnosing a tornado, but not predicting one. It's good for seeing debris that has already been lofted into the atmosphere. But if you see a lowering here, that means the tornado is already in progress. And we do not see one yet, so I do not believe there is a current tornado on the ground. It certainly does not look that way, but that does not mean that it cannot get its act together very quickly and produce a tornado. I do want to point this area of rotation out to the south and west of this one that is already warned. This area here to the east of Mount Carmel does look like it might be trying to tighten here into a couplet. So Phelps, be on the lookout. This storm is moving in your direction. You might be under the gun twice here within the next hour as this storm to the west proceeds into your area. And these storms look like they might be some kind of twins here trying to cause a little bit of trouble as they are conjoined, and hopefully that limits any tornadic formation, but that does not mean it will. But maybe they will interact with each other in a way that prevents any major problems. Again, I do not see a surefire sign of a tornado right now. That does not mean that there is not one on the ground, but this is looking better than rather than worse right now for the city of Phelps and eventually Spring Place. Unfortunately, this does look like it might be trying to tighten a little bit here. Tighten a little bit right here. This is our area of concern here. Now northeast of Phelps, Georgia, and this could quickly become a problem for Spring Place, Georgia, Chatsworth, Georgia. You guys are all under a tornado warning right now. Do seek shelter. Center room, lowest floor of your house. If you have a basement, that is great. If you are in a mobile home and have time, actually there is no such thing there. You need to get out of the home. Even being in a ditch, a low-lying ditch is better than being in a mobile home. It can be a death trap in a tornado. I'm trying to check chat as I go here, but nobody is saying anything, so I'm assuming that is a good sign. Hopefully I'm conveying this message pretty well. We'll stay here with you, and again, we are watching the rest of Georgia. The good news about this situation is right now there are no other warnings for our state, but there are. One is enough, right? Even just one is all it takes to really ruin somebody's night, and even if it ruins one person, that's one too many, in my opinion. Again, this warning is still radar indicated, which means that the National Weather Service is in agreement that this does not look like it is currently on the ground. That does not mean that it will not quickly become a problem, though. It can drop between radar frames even sometimes, meaning that we don't even see it. We just see the sign or the debris that it has lofted. So you need to take this warning seriously. Regardless of whether there is a confirmed tornado, it is still a tornado warning if you are within this polygon. Again, Dalton, Phelps, Tilton, Eaton, and again, I apologize for pronouncing that. I say it different every time. Chatsworth and Ramhurst, Georgia. Please be in your safe spot as this storm is dangerous. It does have the ingredients to produce a tornado, and there is a warning on it. You should be in your safe spot. And even if there's not a tornado, this thing is certainly capable of producing very, very intense straight line winds that can be just as dangerous as a tornado. So you need to be in your safe spot. You need to be aware of your situation and where you stand within this polygon. And I don't know why I'm showing the same product here. I do apologize. Yeah, so here's our couplet. Again, this is couplet is where the tornado is likely to be if there is one. There is a tornado. I'm checking chat here. There are a lot of people that are helping us out here. Again, want to give a quick shout out to our Weatherdawgs team. They have all finished their finals this semester. They are all at home, but they are still willing to help us out here. So we appreciate all of them. Does look like it might be trying to get its act together here, but this. Sorry.
I don't know if this will be. If anything was added to
Oh yeah. So okay, great. So this warning has been Oh, I see what happened. So this is a new. This was the rotation, the couplet I was referring to earlier that looked like it's. So this one is behind the original one. This is a new warning, new tornado warning here for. Let me see here. Murray, Walker, and Whitfield counties. This includes the cities again of Dalton, Naomi, Mill Creek, Tilton, Suttles Mill, and Villanelle. Um, this is also crossing into the original warning. The city of Phelps. You guys are under the gun yet again. Phelps, do not leave your safe place. If you are in or near Phelps, Georgia, you are under the gun from a second storm here that is trailing the original tornado warning. As you can see here, we have two very interesting areas of rotation in two separate storms, either of which are very capable of producing a tornado in this environment. Let's check out our base velocity. Yeah, so these are pretty interesting, concerning areas of rotation here. Let's check our correlation coefficient again here. And while I'm clicking between them, I'm trying to co-locate each of these products. So that's how you really diagnose a tornado. Okay. I'm still not seeing a surefire sign of a active tornado, which is great news. This is great news, and the National Weather Service appears to be agreeing here that these are not on the ground as of right now, but they are certainly capable of dropping at any moment here. I'm going to swap this back over to reflectivity so we can see the rainfall. Again, I don't want to get lost in the tornado danger here. Tornadoes, they're dangerous. We know that. They're very small, though. You are very unlikely to be affected by one. However, a much more widespread problem is not only the straight line winds with these severe thunderstorm warnings, but also the threat for flash flooding. These storms are not moving very fast at all. 30, 35 miles per hour, very heavy rainfall. The flooding is very possible. Flash flooding, especially in low-lying areas. You need to be aware of all modes of severe weather here, including flooding, which we often overlook. Um, so let's take a step back here. I have some good news for our friends in Chatsworth. It looks like this leading circulation is weakening. I have some very bad news for our friends in Phelps, as this circulation here to your south and west looks like it might have siphoned energy off of this storm and has really begun to get its act together. This is a very concerning signature for our friends in Phelps, Georgia, and even Tilton, Georgia. Phelps and Tilton, Georgia, you are under a tornado warning right now, and this looks to be getting its act together. If you are listening or you have friends in Phelps or Tilton, Georgia, or near that area, you need to warn them. This storm is quickly approaching from their west, and it does look like it might be starting to tighten and potentially trying to drop a tornado right now as we speak. We keep an eye out here on our trusty correlation coefficient, which tells us the size, distribution, and the shape of things that the radar sees. So debris shows up as a really low area in this product here. So if debris is being lofted, the radar sees that, says, hey, this is not well correlated. They don't look alike. It's probably debris. That's why we use this product here. And I have to say that this signature is looking more and more intense. And so let's take this seriously. Friends in Phelps and Tilton, Georgia, you are in the bullseye here for this area of rotation to your south and west. It is moving directly towards you. Please heed this warning. Please take it seriously. You are also under severe thunderstorm warning. So even if this storm does not produce a tornado, it does indeed have the capability to produce some very strong straight line winds, which can be just as dangerous as a weak tornado, or even a moderate tornado in some cases. Again, I haven't forgot about this warning here, but I've been keeping an eye on this rotation to the west of Chatsworth, and the good news is it looks like it has broadened out. I do believe this southern storm here is taking the energy away from this one and choking it off, which is good for Chatsworth, but unfortunately for our friends in Phelps and Tilton, you are not in a good position here with this storm moving in from your southwest. Let me check our chat here. I am trying to keep up with again the other people in our program. Yeah, so this is likely on the ground at this point, I do believe. And this is not just me saying this. This is several of my colleagues are also agreeing that this tornado is likely active. And it might already have lifted. We don't know. We don't have people on the ground to give ground truth, but it is certainly the signature is very about as textbook as they get. This tornado, if it is there, is potentially on the ground. It's, I would even say it's likely on the ground right now. Not sure. Not sure whether this is a lowering for our debris. It does look like it's pretty well co-located with this couplet. This might be debris. Either way, you are under a tornado warning. You should be in your safe place, regardless of whether there's a tornado confirmed. You should be in a safe place. This is a tornado warning for Phelps, Tilton, and Dalton, Georgia. Dalton, this appears to be going south of you, but you are still in the polygon. To our friends in Chatsworth, this rotation here affecting you. This is a different storm, but also a tornado warned storm. This rotation might be trying to get its act back together. There might be the potential for another tornado on this storm moving into the Chatsworth area to produce a tornado as well. All right, so taking a look back out here, we have two tornado warnings in northwest Georgia. Our friends in northwest Georgia are under a 4 out of 5 risk tonight from the SPC. That means level 4 out of 5, that is moderate. All modes are possible, meaning large hail, tornadoes, and straight line winds. And I also want to play up the flooding risk with this system as we see here in Tennessee. There are several areas of intense flash flooding occurring right now. But our most important situation right now are for our friends in Phelps, Tilton, and even Dalton, Georgia, where we had a intense supercell storm that has likely likely produced a tornado. And if it hasn't produced one, it has came very close. Either way, you are under a tornado warning. Again, this is Dalton, Phelps, and Tilton, Georgia, and areas to the west of there. Okay. Also, our friends in Chatsworth, and again, I keep slaughtering this town, I'm sure, but Eaton or Eton, I'm not sure, Eton in this city here, and Ramhurst. You guys are under the gun from a separate storm, but it is also tornado warned. Do take this seriously. But I will say the more impressive signature in this particular case is the southern signature here, approaching Phelps from the west. It does appear that the signature might be broadening out, which is good. It's occluding, we call this occlusion in meteorology. This is where the cold air wraps around and chokes off the mesocyclone. Let's hope that's what's happening. Let's hope that's what's happening here. Although with this storm relative velocity here, meaning we're looking at this from a bit of a different product, is a little more concerning. Either way, I don't want to get lost in the the differences here. I just want to say this is a tornado warning. You should treat it as such, whether or not it is confirmed. It is still a tornado warning. The National Weather Service has not confirmed it yet, so we're not certain this is on the ground, but it has shown signs that it is ready to produce. It is shown, and it's in a prime environment. And again, I want to make sure y'all understand we are watching the rest of the state. Thankfully, we have no other warnings other than these two severe thunderstorm warnings here, but these have been here for a while now.
There's a flash flood warning just issued.
It sounds like we just got a flash flood warning uh, for Catoosa, Murray, Walker, Whitfield counties. Again, that is Catoosa, Murray, Walker, and Whitfield counties. Flash flood warning. Remember, I said we always focus on tornadoes, but flooding is just as dangerous. And this system has every ingredient it needs to produce some. And there's our warning. There's our flash flood warning here, the green box. So if you're within this polygon here, Lafayette, Cooper Heights, Rock Spring. I mean, Phelps and Tilton, you guys just aren't getting a break tonight, it seems like. Now y'all are under that flash flood warning as well. Dalton, you are in this warning. And I believe this is Warring. Tunnel Hill. I do want to make sure that you guys see this warning, but I want to focus on the immediate threat right now, which are these two tornado warnings back to back on each other. Unfortunately, this one here is overlapping, so these two storms are both still capable of producing tornadoes. And I hate to be the bearer of this news, but it looks like this southern storm might be trying to intensify again. So this is what we call a hook echo. You can see this little fish hook shape coming out of the back flank of the storm. And the Weather Service has chopped off the back end of this warning, but it is still continuing for Phelps and Tilton, Georgia. And for our friends to the east, again, haven't forgot about you. Eaton, Chatsworth, Ramhurst, and Spring Place. You guys are under a separate but still important tornado warning here. For this couplet that has really broadened out, which is great news. It means that it probably is starting to weaken. That does not mean it cannot ramp back up. And I imagine that anybody in this area is probably experiencing some intense straight line winds with this storm. which can be just as dangerous as a tornado. And no sooner that I said that this next frame. See, this is what we have to be worried about tonight. Within one radar frame, these things can tighten up and produce a tornado. That's all it takes, a single frame, and this couplet here has done just that. I'm going to give some city names again here. Phelps, Tilton, Dalton. Good news, Dalton, you are no longer under a tornado warning. However, um, people in southeast Dalton, you are probably advised to stay in your safe place. As a matter of fact, the rest of Dalton too, because the severe thunderstorm warning encompasses the area still. Again, let's not just because you're not under a tornado warning does not mean you cannot experience uh, um, straight line winds from these storms. I'm just trying to recoup here a little bit. I'm starting to get the hoarse voice from running my mouth here. um, yeah. So I wanted to kind of recoup here a little bit. Again, let's zoom out on the situation at hand. Northwest Georgia, level 4 out of 5 risk for severe weather tonight. Now, this is a tiny area in northwest Georgia, tiny but mighty. Dade County, you are especially under the gun. It has not ended for you. You see these cells here, all tornado warned, moving out of Alabama. They will be approaching our area later, and they do look nasty, absolutely nasty. But the more immediate threat are these two supercells in northwest Georgia already. Does look like it does look like they are continuing to have this couplet or couplets associated with them. Couplets are one of the ways to diagnose tornadoes, and we do see those here with these storms. It looks like they might be starting to broaden out a little bit more, which is what we want to see here. Um, if you see your city name in these polygons, any of these polygons, whether it be the green one, which is flash flood warning, the red here is severe thunderstorm, and the magenta is tornado warning, you should be taking your severe weather precautions for flooding. Get to higher ground. Turn around, do not drown, don't drive through flood waters. I don't care if you have an F3000, F850, whatever, don't drive through it. You don't. It takes 6 inches of water to push a car off the road. Okay, I'll mention some city names again. We have Phelps, Tilton. I have very good news. This circulation looks like it might be broadening. I do believe this might be a cyclical supercell. That means that it is cycling through periods of weakening with periods of rapid intensification here. And the unfortunate thing with that is that at any second you can get a tornado with these storms. Unfortunately, we're starting to run into some range folding here on our radar. That's just areas of this dark purple color here. Range folding is caused by some features of the radar beam that are a little bit science heavy. But for all you need to know is we can't really see what's going on behind this area. We have to look at the information around it, and it's at that range on the high top radar here near Huntsville, where we're starting to get into this range folding with these storms. Doesn't mean we can't tell you what's going on. It just means it's a little bit harder to see these features beneath this dark purple here.
Just came out with one mesoskill discussions.
Okay. Any continues?
They have that now. I don't know if that was updated. Yeah. I'll skim through this though.
Just let me know if there's anyone. So the SPC has just released a new mesoscale analysis, a mesoscale discussion rather, about in northeast or northwest, sorry, northwest
West,
Georgia.
northwest,
Northwest Georgia is included in this
and
mesoscale discussion.
expand eastward.
Again, I want to stress the large hail threat with this system as well, especially for northwest Georgia. Some large hail with this. You can see these little hail markers here, inch and a half here. Emergency management in Dade, Georgia. I'm guessing that's Dade County. I do apologize. Dade County, Daniel Trace Drive, South Sunset Drive. There was inch and a half hail reported, and this was a little while ago. So this was when these storms here were moving through that area. And I want to say, if you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, I don't want to get lost on these tornado warnings here. Severe thunderstorm warnings are also very important, as is this green box here, which is a flash flood warning. You should heed all of these boxes. They aren't suggestions. They are the National Weather Service saying you need to take cover. This isn't a drill. This isn't a prediction. This is happening. This has been diagnosed. This is what's going on. You should be in your safe place. It looks like these tornado warnings are still, thankfully, only radar indicated. Still only radar indicated here in northwest Georgia. I want to give some town names: Phelps, Tilton, Chatsworth, again Eaton, and Ramhurst, Georgia. These circulations do appear to have broadened out quite a lot over the last few frames here. Let me check with my friends here that are helping us out.
I think they just extended that
They extended the warning again.
in the watch. I think they extended the watch.
Oh, the watch. So, guys, we're doing this actively as we can. We're trying to keep you guys posted here. We have the chat open with Peachtree City right now, National Weather Service, trying to garner some information from them. Also, let's keep an eye out. Let's keep an eye out here on this warning here in northeastern Alabama that could very well be extended into the Dade County area here very soon. We need to keep an eye out here. These let's play this forward, right? Let's look a little ahead in time. You're not yet, but you need to be preparing to go to your safe space. This is Trenton, Georgia, Morganville, Rising Fawn, along the I-59 corridor in Dade County. You will be soon. You could possibly be under a tornado warning, and this is it's pretty intense looking storm here moving out of Alabama. Trenton probably got a lot of lightning, probably some very heavy rain, and don't fret. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Just make sure you don't go crazy. Just understand this is for your protection. Just get in your safe space. You will be fine. Get in your safe place. Center room of house. Put as much space between you and the outside as you can. Do not get near windows. If you have a basement, that's optimal. If you have a storm cellar, optimal. That doesn't mean that that's the only way. That's just the best way. So we've just had an extension to our tornado watch. It is until 4 a.m. Tornado watch for all of northern Georgia. Um,
Oh, there, right there. Yep.
So I'm calling out a bunch of county names very quickly here. This is going to be Elbert, Franklin, Habersham, Hart, Rabun, Stevens, and um, Graham. I'm guessing that's Graham County, South Carolina. Haywood, Jackson, Macon, Swain, Transylvania. Some of these counties are in North and South Carolina as well. Abbeville, Anderson, Oconee, Pickens. These are South Carolina. Oh, I see. Sorry. So for Georgia, Elbert, Franklin, Habersham, Hart, Rabun, and Stevens. Again, for Georgia counties, Elbert, Franklin, Habersham, Hart, Rabun, and Stevens counties. You are under a tornado watch or you have been added to a tornado watch until 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time here in northern Georgia. We are currently tracking these storms. We are tracking these storms here. Probably a lot of lightning. It does look like these circulations are still very active and cyclical meaning they are swapping in intensity very quickly. Tilton, probably under a lot of wind right now. Ramhurst, also the same story. These storms are very windy. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning here for Ellijay, Georgia, Cherry Log, Georgia, and this one is rather intense. 70-mile-per-hour wind gust, ping pong ball size hail. This is not this is not your average summer thunderstorm. This is a very severe thunderstorm here. Yeah.
Were you looking at that one?
Yeah, that's the new one. So yeah, so Ellijay, Georgia. Again, Cherry Log. This you're now under a severe thunderstorm warning, and it looks like these tornado warnings were canceled. Looks like we no longer have tornado warnings for anyone in Georgia. That's great news. I do want.
Just issued.
It's a severe thunderstorm. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, cool. Again, all tornado warnings have been canceled. That is great news. I do want to again call out Dade County. This is Trenton, Rising Fawn, Morganville. There is a tornadic storm that may be extended over into Georgia. May soon be under a tornado warning. You are not yet, but you are still under a severe thunderstorm warning with intense straight line winds and potentially large hail. Let's see. Okay, so continue to stay tuned for these storms again moving out of Alabama. They have produced some rather violent tornadoes previously. They can continue to do so at any time here. I do want to say while the National Weather Service has allowed these tornado warnings to expire, these storms are still very clearly rotating. There we go. All right, so we just had a new tornado warning. This is a tornado warning for western Gilmer County, southern Murray County, and southeastern Whitfield County. This is a new tornado warning. There are two separate areas of rotation within this warning that are very capable of producing tornadoes. Anyone in, again, Chatsworth, Ramhurst, you especially, this thing is right on top of you. This eastern circulation is right on top of you right now in Ramhurst, Georgia. Tilton, you seem to be to the west of these. I think that the immediate tornadic threat has passed to your east. That is Tilton. Phelps, you as well. Phelps, you are right on the edge of this polygon. So make sure that you heed the warnings because you are also under this severe thunderstorm warning. This is a bit of a mess. I understand these warnings are all on top of each other. Interestingly enough, one of the prerequisites for a severe thunderstorm is a tornado. So usually a tornado warning is accompanied by a severe thunderstorm warning. And also, this green box here is a flash flood warning. And this flash flood warning is for southwestern Catoosa County, west central Murray County, southern Walker County, and Whitfield County. So make sure you are, again, paying attention to this flash flood warning here. And let's come back over to our newly issued tornado warning here in northwest Georgia. Again, this is for western Gilmer County, southern Murray County, and southeastern Whitfield County. And the cities here under the gun, under a threat for tornadoes, include Tilton, Ramhurst, Chatsworth, and eventually Ellijay. Tilton, you seem to be again to the west of this, but you are in the polygon, so please do respect it and make sure that you take your safety precautions. You still could see some very strong straight line winds from this storm as well as they push through the area. They sometimes bring in what are called rear flank downdrafts, which are extremely powerful winds coming out of the thunderstorm, and they can cause very intense, or they can cause intense damage when they interact with the ground. Luckily, again, these couplets seem to be broadening out. Again, this is a cyclical situation we're in right now. Cyclical meaning periods of intensification followed by periods of weakening. Um, and unfortunately, the intensification sometimes can happen very, very rapidly between radar scans, even sometimes, which means that we can be a little bit behind. So, what I mean, the ultimate story there is if you are in a tornado warning, even if it's not confirmed, you should be in your safe place. It might be hot and cramped. I understand that. It's not comfortable, it's not optimal, but it's better than facing a tornado. And anyone in a mobile home, please, please get out of the mobile home. You should not try to ride this one out in a mobile home. It is not, mobile homes are not the place to be in a tornado. Let's zoom back out on our severe thunderstorm. We have a new warning here. I do apologize for the delay in getting to this one. Let's zoom out on our situation. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Union County in north central Georgia and Fannin County in north central Georgia. This includes the cities of Blue Ridge, Mineral Bluff, Morganton, and Blairsville. You are not in this one, but you are right on the edge of it. Blairsville, this is headed your way. Be prepared in case it is extended into your area. Let's check the stats on this warning. Looks like we have 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail with this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this one here is for northwestern Union County and Fannin County. I do want to give a special shout out to this warning here. It is especially intense with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and ping pong ball size hail, which is rather large. And also these areas of rotation here, again, cyclical, right? This one here near Ramhurst is starting to really wrap its act up again. Let's go to our correlation coefficient. Still not seeing anything especially concerning regarding lofted debris right now. That does not mean there's not a tornado. One thing that I often hear overlooked with correlation coefficient, it is a diagnostic um, it is a diagnostic product, meaning that there has to be a tornado already active in order to show up on it. With velocity, we can infer before the tornado happens that it's going to happen. With correlation coefficient, you cannot do that. You have to have an active tornado before you see it, meaning it's already on the ground and doing damage. And again, I want to express, for those of you joining us, we are watching the rest of the state. We are very fortunate that there are no other active warnings right now for Georgia other than this cluster here in northwest Georgia. And this was expected. This was well modeled. We knew it was going to be in this area, especially the Dade County area. You are under a level 4 out of 5 risk right now. It looks like we have a little bit of a decrease in intensity. A little bit of this storm here has started to really lose its act, thankfully. So hopefully this tornado warning is not extended into Georgia. And I'm referring to the storm coming out of Alabama. Some of these storms down to the south, though, are still looking a little bit tornadic. Hopefully they lose their strength. Actually, I would even venture to say the ones in Georgia right now look more impressive than the ones in Alabama. Again, let's call out some names. Tilton, Ramhurst, Chatsworth, Ellijay, under the gun here, under a tornado warning. This tornado warning is still just radar indicated. That means that we are not certain that there is a tornado, but a tornado is indeed imminent. It does not matter, though. You should be in your safe space, safe spot, wherever that is. Center room, much space between you and the outside as you can possibly get. If you are in a mobile home, you should not be in that mobile home. You should get go into a well-built house, whether that be a neighbor's house, whether that be your church. Go to your church. I'm sure they would love to let you in, and shelter there. And this is May. Severe weather season is in full swing, as we've seen the last few days. In Oklahoma, our friends in Tennessee have just been hit time after time today with pretty powerful tornadoes, and now they're dealing with this flooding issue up here. And this system is pushing into Georgia. We're hoping that we don't get a severe tornado outbreak. We're hoping this becomes more of a wind event. Not that that's any better, but at least we're not dealing with popcorn tornadoes. Um, Again, straight line winds.
It canceled for Whitfield.
The tornado warning.
Continues for Gilmore and Murray.
They extended this tornado warning.
It canceled for Whitfield.
Okay, so tornado warning right now canceled for Whitfield County. Whitfield County, you are out of the tornado warning. Gilmer and Murray, you are still under a tornado warning. Gilmer and Murray counties in northwest Georgia, you are still under that warning. And here's that warning. We still have these two separate areas of rotation, one west of Ramhurst and one west of Ellijay. This one looks like it might be trying to tighten again here. What this tells me, okay, so Ramhurst, you have just been removed from that warning. But what I want to point out is this area of intense or increased velocity here. This little white bow-shaped region. This is probably very, very strong straight line winds. And it is pushing to the south and east. So anyone southwest of Ramhurst, you're probably about to experience some very intense winds if you are not already. You need to be in a safe place. Again, that is southwest of Ramhurst. The tornado warning has been continued to the east of Ramhurst and to the west of Ellijay, Georgia, where we have this couplet here that is proven to be undergoing a cyclic periods of intensification followed by weakening. That does not mean that it cannot get its act together quickly and drop a significant tornado at any time. Therefore, if you are inside of this warning, you should be heeding it very carefully. Again, we're keeping an eye out on the rest of the state. We have these warnings and no other right now. And if you don't believe me, I'll zoom out here. So the rest of Georgia is clear right now. We are looking at northwest Georgia, where we have a ongoing severe weather situation. This includes flash floods, intense straight line winds, and even some tornadoes embedded within this system. Make sure my stuff is still working. Looks like my battery finally died. Okay, let me see. Battery died on the dang.
On your what?
On the receiver box. Battery died. Yeah, the battery died on it.
Oh, like, you mean battery?
Yeah, for the receiver box is dead. Hey guys, give me 1 second. I'm trying to get the batteries. Yes, I just used 2 AA's for the main box, but this one also needs them.
Tried these two, I didn't.
Oh great, yeah, cool.
Also,
1 second.
you are almost out of batteries and nobody said anything. Do those work? This is a fresh one. I don't know how fresh those are.
Yeah.
You back on?
No, these are completely dead.
This one's a new one.
Let me try this one real quick.
Here, we don't hear it.
I've been talking to myself for the last 10 minutes probably. These things are dead.
Can you take one out of
goodness. All right. Make sure I got audio. Hey guys, back here. Sorry, we had an issue with batteries dying on our mic here. Do apologize for that. Apologize. Let me pull this to the side. Make sure my mic is again working, and it is great. Great.
Should I go run and get some batteries? 'Cause-
They're both full now. Yeah, because I just replaced these, and these are full.
So enough to get us through the night.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I don't know how long they usually last a pretty good while.
I don't know how old these are.
Well, if they start to die quickly, we can get some more. Yeah, again, sorry about that, guys. We were trying to get the batteries replaced here in our studio mic, so we could talk to you. Again, okay, let's recoup for a second. Okay, so this severe thunderstorm warning for northwest Georgia, that's Trenton, Ringgold, that severe thunderstorm warning's been canceled. We do have an active tornado warning here for, this is Ellijay and Ramhurst, Georgia. Ramhurst, you're right on the edge, so I would just suggest you stay in your safe place. And you also have this strong area of enhanced velocity here. This is indicative of straight line winds here. Probably very strong straight line winds moving into Ramhurst now, or they've already moved in. Places south of Ramhurst, you should be expecting these winds to move into your area as well. Again, strong straight line winds are can be just as dangerous as tornadic winds. And we have these red boxes again are severe thunderstorm warnings. Severe thunderstorm warnings for, and again, this is in northwest Georgia. And we are keeping an eye on the rest of the state, and we have no other active warnings as of now, which is great. And let's just really quick for interest, let's check out these reports that just came in. So we're getting reports of thunderstorm wind damage from emergency management in Whitfield County here. Some trees down, it looks like. Most of these are down trees. And again, a down tree is very dangerous if you're under it, right? It takes one to fall on your house and cause a big problem. So just make sure, if you have any of those, I grew up in an area, I know how it is with the really tall pine trees. If you know one's potential to come down, make sure you're not on that side of the house, right? So just, make sure that you understand that these are very strong straight line winds, even if you're not under a tornado warning. These severe thunderstorm warnings, including this one here for Ellijay, this one has 70 mile per hour wind gusts on it. That's almost hurricane force. And I'm sure there are some gusts well over hurricane force winds with these storms. We do have this active tornado warning, although I do not believe that it is going to be extended. So this is for northwestern Gilmer and southeastern Murray counties. The city of Ellijay, you are under the gun here. You are in this tornado warning, although this rotation does not look very impressive right now. So I do not believe there is a tornado associated with this, but I do hate to say that sometimes these things can wrap up very, very quickly. So we need to treat this as if there is a tornado on the ground. Again, this is for Ellijay, and more broadly, this goes for northwestern Gilmer and southeastern Murray counties in northwest Georgia. Let's push this system forward a little bit more, talking into the future here. Blairsville, Hiawassee, Helen, Cleveland, Dahlonega, you guys are going to be in this, you're going to be in the crosshairs here in a little bit for these severe storms moving into your area. So be prepared there for any changes. Extended tornado warnings or a pop-up tornado is not to be ruled out this evening. Yeah, I'm just not impressed at all with this signature right now. It is not not. I don't think it's really. I don't think it's at all producing anything right now. Thankfully, very happy about that. Although I want to point out again, these little enhanced areas of velocity here are indicative of probably very strong straight line winds. And again, we can go over here to our friends in Whitfield County who have reported several trees down here from these straight line winds. So they are very capable of causing damage similar to tornadoes, and in some cases even more intense than a weak tornado. So let's keep our eyes out there for any sudden wrappings here with this couplet. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I do believe this warning will be allowed to expire here soon. Trying to check times here. Yep. So yeah, Ella again. You just stay in your safe place for a bit longer here. You're still under this warning. You should still be in your safe space or your safe spot. Um, and again, I don't want to overlook this flash flood warning here. Again, this is a flash flood warning for Dalton, Lafayette. This is Phelps, Tilton. You guys are under a flash flood warning. Rock Spring, Cooper Heights, Mount Carmel. This is all for you guys here, and Warring as well, Tunnel Hill. We can look up here in Tennessee. They've been dealing with this as well. So this is a flash flood warning. I know tornadoes are more interesting, but flash flooding is very dangerous. Do not drive through. Do not drive on flooded waterways, or sorry, flooded roadways. If you see water over the road, it's better for you to turn around and take the long way than to drown. Turn around, don't drown. Also, one thing that is not understood sometimes is that it only takes about 6 inches of water to push your vehicle off the road, especially small cars. I drive a Civic, so I would not doubt that it could be pushed off the road rather easily. It's a very light car, and even large trucks, right? Don't risk it. It's not worth it. It's not worth your life. Take the 5 minutes extra and go the long way. We're keeping an eye out here on this couplet. Might be trying to do something right here, just to the west of LJ. But I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to produce anything. Hopefully. Although the Weather Service has. Okay, so I think they're also looking at this one little area right here. Looks like they have extended this tornado warning until midnight. So this tornado warning has been extended. It looks like it might be starting to ramp up again here. Ella J, this is for you. Ella J, Georgia, you need to be in a safe space right now. This tornado, this couplet is starting to ramp up to the west of Ella J and is moving right towards Ella J. Let's look on a broader scale. This okay.
They just canceled it.
Okay, warning has been canceled. The tornado warning has been canceled. Okay. There is still the potential for very strong straight line winds in this area here. So what they did here is they extended it to midnight but then canceled it. I'm assuming this storm might be moving into a less favorable environment for tornadoes, which is great. We like to see that. Yes, that is exactly what happened. So, National Weather Service citing a diminished threat of tornadoes for this particular storm. They are pointing out the possibility of large hail and again damaging winds. That means straight line winds. They have extended this severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 12:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. My friends in LJ are probably about to be hit by pretty intense winds if they're not already there. They will be moving in very soon. I'm sure you're seeing a lot of lightning, probably some small hail to moderately sized hail with these storms. It probably sounds very loud, very probably uncomfortable for a lot of people, but just know we got you. We're watching these very closely, and as of right now, this does not look like it's in any shape to produce a tornado anytime soon. The warning again has been canceled, and it is moving into a less favorable environment for tornadoes here. Let me pull this. I'm sorry. Let me pull my face down. Get it a little bit. It's kind of hanging over the frame there. I apologize for that. Again, I don't want to be focused on the people that are just in warnings right now. Let's push this system forward a little bit. This is moving to the east, so we have towns Blairsville, again, Hiawassee, Helen, Cleveland, and even Dahlonega. You guys need to be preparing for the arrival of these storms. And if you don't get tornadoes, you certainly are under the gun for straight line winds that are very intense. And let's keep our guard up in relation to, again, straight line winds. Very possible, again, with these storms here. I know it's getting late, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Looks like we're down to only severe thunderstorm warnings in Georgia right now, which is great news. All of our tornado warnings have been canceled. Right now, we don't have any tornadic threat from any of these storms. We do have strong straight line winds um, and potentially moderately sized hail, but no tornadic threat right now. My friends out ahead of these also, make sure your pets are inside. Um, Hail does not feel good when it hits you, and they don't need to be hit by it. It certainly causes injuries to them. Make sure your pets are inside or in a very sheltered area where they cannot be hit by these hailstones because they are traveling at very high speeds, and that does not feel good when it hits, and it can actually cause significant injury to pets and anything caught outside. If you have a car and you have a garage that you're able to move the car into, if you're out ahead of these severe thunderstorm warnings, I do expect them to be continued at some point. I would suggest you putting your anything that can be damaged easily by hail. I suggest you put that in an area where it will not be affected. Um, okay, so again, let's zoom out here. We need to be paying attention not only to what's going on, but what's coming. So we have these severe thunderstorm warnings. There are no current tornado warnings in Georgia right now, but we do have these severe thunderstorm, or sorry, we do have these tornado warnings in Alabama that could very well be extended into Georgia at some point, especially this storm here in coming up to the state line. I do believe this has a confirmed tornado on it right now. This is in eastern Alabama, just south of Scottsboro, Alabama, and it is moving east in the direction of our viewing area. Although we do not have any active tornado warnings right now in Georgia, thankfully. Looks like all of that has been canceled. I do not want to, again, often we downplay everything. We get that sigh of relief that comes when the tornado warning's canceled. You're not out of the gun. You're not out of the threat yet. We still have these very strong straight line winds that can cause tornadic type damage, meaning they can push trees over, they can down power lines, they can even cause roof damage in some cases. They can blow roofs off. These storms are not to be played with. Just because they're not tornadic doesn't mean they can't cause damage. Especially this warning out here for LJ, which has 70-mile-per-hour winds on it, and ping pong ball sized hail. And let's think about this storm. You have these winds, but you also have these hailstones that are being blown in the wind. So effectively a weird form of sandblasting going on here with these hailstones. We're keeping a close eye here on this storm again in eastern Alabama that is headed in the direction of the state line to be crossed potentially very soon here into western Georgia, northwestern Georgia, should I say. Again, this is going to be Dade County would be the first county to be impacted by this, and then our friends in Lafayette and eventually the same area that was under the gun earlier. Still no more warnings, which is good. Hopefully these storms are weakening potentially a little bit. Maybe they're starting to lose their umph in some cases. One thing I do want to point out, let's push this forward a little more. Uh, Models are showing the potential for some storms to develop in the Atlanta area out ahead of this line. It does look like we have some little pockets of rain starting to fall around Lawrenceville in Gwinnett County, Monroe, Georgia. You guys might be seeing some rain soon. These storms do have they do have a lesser but still extant potential to intensify later. I don't think the tornado threat is as large down here. I think it's more of a wind event, a straight line wind. But that's, again, we can't get lost in the whole if it's not a tornado, it's not dangerous mentality. We have to know that straight line winds can do just as much damage in some cases. And these are all storms to watch. Any storm that fires could have the potential for tornadoes. I'm just checking out the storm here in Alabama. If this thing stays on the ground again, it has the potential to do so. I'm not saying it will. It looks like it has dropped down to radar indicated again, which is great news. But it could also be cyclical, like those two storms that were here in this area earlier when we were talking about the enhanced threat for those tornadoes when we had that warning with two different couplets in it earlier. I'm going to go ahead and pull away this panel again. Let's go back to one panel. Zoom out here, give you a nice view. And again, I want to watch this area here for any initiation of isolated cells that could potentially spin up quickly. That threat is very real. And again, may not happen. We hope it doesn't happen. That doesn't mean it can't, though. We need to just stay vigilant. Most of North Georgia is under a risk for severe weather tonight. Let me pull up really quickly some of our risk maps. Let's look. We can look. Let's look ahead a little bit. Let's see what we got coming towards us tonight. This is the current outlook here. We'll do categorical. So let me figure out how to get this a little bit bigger for you guys. So there's that moderate risk for. You see that little tiny sliver there of Dade County into Walker County. Then we have this enhanced risk for the rest of the area. And then the slight risk goes as far south as the I-20 corridor. And then we have this marginal risk down to around the Macon, Georgia area. And our friends down here in central Georgia, you guys are mostly under just a pop-up thunderstorm threat. That does not mean there can't be some gusty winds with those storms. But it looks like you guys hopefully don't have any of this stuff that we're dealing with up here in northern Georgia. I'm still keeping an eye on those warnings. Keeping an eye on those warnings and make sure they're not extended or upgraded. Pull this window to the side here. I'm just checking our latest model runs here to see what our models are saying about this potential for potential for severe storms later on tonight. So pull up our Atlanta area zoom here. We'll push forward through here. So yeah, I want to kind of step through where the risk lays here. I'm going to move the radar to my second screen so I can keep an eye on any new warnings that crop up. But let's dive into the models real quick. This is the high resolution rapid refresh model, also known as the HRR or the HRRR. It is a convective permitting model, which means that it looks at thunderstorms very well, including severe weather. So if we push this model forward, we start to see these cells generate out front of the storm. If we push through here, you can see these storms forming in North Georgia here, pushing through, but another threat arises later on. This is tomorrow morning, around 8 a.m. I believe. Yes, 8 a.m. where we have these cells out front of this massive area of thunderstorms, prone for flash flooding. I'm sure there are still threats for strong wind with these storms. I do believe, again, the weather service is really pushing a decrease in tornado potential. We hope that that stays true throughout the night. And then you can see this line of storms. It takes on this shape of a bow a little bit here. This is indicative of very strong straight line winds. And this isn't just a northwest Georgia situation. This, as you can see here, it's stretching all the way across the state. So at some point we might be dealing with this, and so this looks to be tomorrow into tomorrow morning, late tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. So this is something to keep an eye on. These storms here moving through. We're going to stay with you. I believe these warnings are staying active at least until the top of the hour, and a little bit past maybe 12:15 a.m. We'll stick with you to make sure these things don't blow up again. Just tornadic storms. Again, let's just be weather aware. Make sure that you understand where you're at, your county name, any shelters that you can go to if you need to do so. And again, if you're in a mobile home, now is the time to figure out if you can go stay with a friend, if you can find a place like a local church or a community center or somewhere where they're allowing people to shelter. That would be great for you to go to. Even with straight line winds, they can roll a mobile home if they're strong enough. And again, those of you that are watching y'all are probably seeing a lot of lightning. You're probably, hearing the wind howl outside, and potentially even hearing some loud hail hitting the house. But as of right now, these warnings have been in place for quite a while. The most intense warning is this one for LJ with 70-mile-per-hour winds. But the rest of these are also dangerous as well. There's a lot of precipitation occurring in these storms. It looks like this warning here for Dalton might be canceled. I do believe that storm is pushing out of this warned area very soon, so hopefully this warning is nearing the end of its life. That storm appears to be east of you. If you are in Dalton, it appears to have moved out of Dalton, but there is some heavy rain behind that one. The heavy rain moving in behind this one, though, is not severe warned. Dalton, stay in your safe place for a little bit longer here until this warning clears out. Our friends in Blue Ridge, Mineral Bluff, y'all's warning is still going strong. Again, let's talk future. Blairsville, Dahlonega, Helen, Cleveland, Claremont. You guys are potentially going to get some severe thunderstorm warnings later on. Just be ready. Don't you don't have to freak out. Just be ready in case it happens. Be prepared. Jasper, Georgia, you guys are probably getting a little bit of rain right now. This storm seems to have popped up in the last few scans here. And again, any of these can go severe, but we don't want to fearmonger. We're not trying to do that. We just want you to be aware. These can get strong rather quickly, but that's nothing to fear.
Fear of okay. Yeah, you can do that.
So I am going to take a quick break here. I'm going to again mute my mic and continue to watch these storms as they progress. If we have any more warnings come up, we will update you. But it seems like they have started to congeal into a line of storms. They have started to join together, and the tornado threat has decreased drastically, thankfully. I do want to point out before I take a break, though, this storm moving out of Alabama has every potential to move into the state of Georgia. There is the potential for a tornado on this storm currently. It was confirmed earlier, but it has since lifted. They are not confident that it is on the ground still. That does not mean it cannot spin up very quickly and produce another tornado, as these storms earlier were trying to do. They were again that cyclical setup that they had, where they were weakening, intensifying, weakening, intensifying. We see that often with storms. It's actually quite an often occurrence, but that doesn't mean it's fun to watch because it's like playing mind games. Okay, so one of our warnings was canceled here. It was I apologize. It wasn't canceled. It was just chopped off. So this storm here this warning here has been downsized. LOJ, you are still under a severe thunderstorm warning. Cherry Log, Blue Ridge, Mineral Bluff, Morganton, and Chatsworth, Eaton, and Ramhurst. You are all under a severe thunderstorm warning. And this includes strong straight line winds and the potential for small to moderately sized hail. I would not be surprised if you guys start to get some flash flooding. If it's not already occurring, it's very soon to start, I believe. We see already a warning over here for Lafayette, Dalton, Roxbury, and Cooper Heights, Tunnel Hill, Warring, Mount Carmel. Again, we don't want to downplay the risk of flash flooding. All right, so I'm going to take a quick break. Again, turn the camera off, turn the mic off, and we'll keep an eye on these storms for you. Okay, and just as I said that, again, luckily we were preparing for this. We just had a warning extended out here, another severe thunderstorm warning. This one includes Towns County in northeastern Georgia, Union County in north central Georgia, and northeastern Fannin County. And look at that, the cities we were talking about. Blairsville, Hiawassee, you guys are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. Young Harris, you guys are also under this warning. This is the same storm that is affecting Blue Ridge, Morganton, and Mineral Bluff. It's kind of straddling the state line between Tennessee and Georgia and pushing off to the east with very strong winds. I believe this warning has 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and luckily the hail is not too large with this one. It's penny sized. That doesn't mean it can't do damage, but it is not as big as some of these storms have had. And again, the last thing I'll say is, for now, is that you also need to understand that these are not moving very fast. They're only moving at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, which means that they have ample time to sit and dump rain. Another new warning here for northwestern Lumpkin County, eastern Gilmer County, and southwestern Union County and southeastern Fannin County. This is another severe thunderstorm warning. This includes a good chunk here of. Give me 1 second. Let me get some city names here. I apologize. My map isn't the best here, as you can see. So some city names: East LJ, such as Margaret, Camp Merrill, Woods Hole, Shelter, Dial, Springer Mountain, Shelter, Cartacay, Pisky, sorry. Uh, Vogel State Park, Black Gap, Shelter, Cherry Log, Stover Creek Shelter, Hawk Mountain Shelter, Roy Blood Mountain, Gaddis and Gooch Mountain Shelter. Make sure you are in your safe space. These storms are producing very strong winds. And see, okay, so also our warning here that has been canceled. Again, this warning included Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge, you are straddling the border of the new thunderstorm warning, so I would suggest you stay in your safe place, especially if you're in eastern Blue Ridge or east of Blue Ridge. And I'll name some towns once more in these new warnings. This is going to include Hiawassee, Young Harris, Blairsville, Morganton, Mineral Bluff, and areas east of Blue Ridge. And for this warning here extending down to the south and east, I'll just name off a few because there's quite a few towns. East Ellijay, such as Margaret, Camp Merrill, and Woods Hole Shelter, Dial, Piskey, Vogel State Park, and yeah, and Roy, I believe. Yeah, Roy. Okay, so and last little point here I'll make: the Weather Service has added a tag that says to remain alert for a possible tornado. Again, remember, tornadoes can develop very quickly. They can develop even between radar scans in some cases. So let's keep an eye out for those tornadoes because they are still possible. And Tornado watch does remain in effect until 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time for north central Georgia. So that tornado watch is going to continue. Do one last little scan here on this storm here coming close to the state line. And it looks like we are set for a little break finally. We keep getting new warnings. uh, so yeah, so we're going to take a little break. I'll leave the radar here up for your convenience. Again, red is severe thunderstorm. Magenta, those are tornadoes, but we don't have any tornado warnings right now, thankfully. So we will be back if conditions change. All right, we are back here. I'm back because we need to talk about this storm here in eastern Alabama. This is a tornado emergency. Confirmed large and destructive tornado located over Henniger, Alabama, 9 miles north of Rainsville. And this is quickly approaching the Georgia state line and I 59. Just across the Georgia state line. This storm has continuously been on the ground for a while now, and it looks to be approaching Georgia quite quickly. I do not think that it will weaken too terribly much. At the very least, I am pretty confident that there will be an extension of this tornado warning into Georgia. So let's do what we did earlier with the severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's talk about the towns that could possibly be under threat here from this storm. That would be Center Post, Mount Carmel. I apologize, guys. This is a training situation, meaning that we have storm after storm after storm. I think this is going to be again, Center Post, Mount Carmel, Lafayette, possibly. Thinking this is Tryon. I do apologize if I'm saying that wrong. As long as you understand what the name of the town is, that is all I intend to convey to you. I just want you to know what the name is. Let me see. I'm using Google Maps here on the side to try to transpose names because it's a little bit hard to see. All right, Amos Mill. Uh, I think this is State Road 157, U.S. Highway 11, Interstate 59. 11 runs parallel to 59. I'm calling these roads out because this tornado is quickly approaching these roads. And again, this is eerily reminiscent of the 2021 Noonan tornado, Noonan EF4, that we also covered. One of our graduates covered that tornado, and this one is eerily similar to it. I'm not saying that it will be like that one, I'm just saying this is similar to what happened. So let's keep an eye on it. Again, let's do a little bit of a regroup here. There are currently no tornado warnings for Georgia. I do think that is about to change very soon, but right now we do not have any. We do have these flash flood warnings, a new one issued for Chatsworth, Ramhurst, Ellijay, Eaton, Cherry Log. You guys are now under a flash flood warning, as well as Dalton, Phelps, Tilton, and Warring. You guys are also under a flash flood warning. And 75 cuts right through these warnings. So if you are by any chance traveling 75 tonight in the Dalton area, you need to be vigilant of these warnings that are in this area. Again, our severe thunderstorm warnings do remain in effect. Blairsville, Hiawassee, Blue Ridge, especially eastern portions of Blue Ridge, Morganton, Mineral Bluff, Young Harris, and Young Harris College. You guys are under this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, straight line winds are the big threat with these, and small hail to moderate sized hail. Cherry Log, you guys are under this other severe thunderstorm warning. Ellijay and East Ellijay, Ramhurst, Chatsworth. I think I've already said those names, but just repeating there. And the big focus right now that I want to emphasize here, and I do believe this will be extended into Georgia, is this tornado emergency. Again, tornado emergency in eastern Alabama. This supercell does appear to be moving into, rather it's continuing on its path. I'm about to pull up a 2-panel here. Let's check this velocity. So yeah, here's our couplet. Here's our couplet, meaning this is where the tornado is likely to be. We can see the algorithm from this program here picking this up. So I do believe this probably has and it does have a very strong debris signature. One of these is the debris signature, I imagine. I think it's this one, but this is a really messy area here. A lot of messy blobs here, but one of these is probably lofted debris, or likely lofted debris. This is a tornado emergency. That means a tornado is on the ground, has been confirmed by radar in this case. Um, some of these cities under the gun here, if you happen to have any family members in Mentone, Valley Head, Hammondville, Alabama, you need to warn them. Do not travel on I-59 between Rising Fawn and Hammondville, Alabama. That area is about to be crossed here with this intense tornado, this large and violent tornado. Zoom back out here to our other warnings here. Still severe thunderstorm, and there are no active tornado warnings for Georgia right now. We have no active tornado warnings in Georgia. I do again think that will change here in a little bit. I do think the folks at Peachtree City will probably preemptively expand this into Georgia for just a little bit to be safe. I think that might be the right call here. Again, yes, here is our debris signature here. This tornado is certainly likely still on the ground. And what I'm doing here, I'm checking my phone. I'm going to look back here on my phone. I'm checking my personal radar app. One of the unfortunate things about this program that I'm using, it doesn't have the best color scale here for our velocity. So I'm just checking a second app just to get a second opinion here. Second opinion. So, uh, folks in okay, I need to regroup. This is an intense situation. This is an intense situation for extreme southern Dade County in northwestern Georgia. This is a significant tornado that is moving in your direction. Uh, this thing is still on the ground. This is a tornado emergency in Alabama. Now, this warning has not been extended into Georgia yet, but this is a catastrophic tagged tornado emergency. This is an observed tornado. I do believe it is still on the ground as well. It looks like it might be cycling. There looks to be a second circulation developing to the north. Uh, I would say so. Yeah, so the southern tip of Dade County and our friends in Walker County in the southwestern side of Walker County. This tornado is moving in your direction. Again, it is not yet. Uh, there is no warning for Georgia, but this supercell still has textbook structure, and it does not appear to be weakening according to radar. Uh, it does not appear to be weakening right now. And just again to reiterate, we are still watching our warnings here. These are severe thunderstorm warnings, very intense straight line winds with these storms here. Probably some downed trees in some areas, a lot of lightning, very loud and noisy outside. But you guys, this is severe thunderstorm. Make sure that you are in your safe place. Um, I am growing increasingly concerned for our friends in Center Post, Mount Carmel, Lafayette. This storm is moving in your direction. Be prepared. You're not yet under a warning, but be prepared. This thing could drop again if it's not on the ground. I do believe it's starting to look excuse me, it's starting to look a little messy here. Uh, Hopefully it's broadening out. Still pretty tight rotation. Uh, I would not be surprised to see this extend over into the Georgia uh, viewing area here. And I'm calling these towns out not because you're under a tornado warning, but because you may be in the near future. Again, Center Post, Mount Carmel, Lafayette. You guys are soon to potentially be under the gun from this intense, catastrophic tagged supercell here. A lot of damage probably has occurred with this tornado. That has been confirmed. It is not yet in Georgia. There's not even a warning for tornado in Georgia, but it could very well be extended. It is not. It is likely, actually, that it probably will be extended over into Georgia very soon. So, guys, just be prepared. We're going to stay here with this storm. This is why we came back. We just want to go ahead and do a little bit of a preemptive warning here. A little bit of a preemptive warning for this storm here in eastern Alabama. Yes, let's regroup. I think this circulation, oh, sorry, 1 second. I gotta click on the other window. I do believe this circulation has started to cycle. I think this is a little bit of a cyclical, or not cycle, but just fall apart and regroup. A little bit of an occlusion, I'm sure, occurring here. There looks to be two different couplets here, one right here and one right here. This is not saying that the storm is not going to regather strength and drop another tornado. Let's check our correlation coefficient here and see if it's, yes, so there's a steep decrease here. I do believe this thing might still be on the ground. Let me check my other app here. And again, I'm bouncing between apps because this app has a lot better of a color palette that I can actually see here. We just had a new tornado warning issued for this storm in Alabama. This is not a tornado emergency. This is a confirmed tornado warning. This is a PDS, particularly dangerous situation. Tornado warning for this storm in Alabama. And again, we want to take care of all of your friends. If you have friends and you live in, or have friends that live in this area in Alabama, that is Valley Head, along the I-59 corridor just west of the Georgia state line. Your friends are under the gun from a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado. And this is not only is this now radar confirmed, it is also spotter confirmed. So we have people on this storm. There are chasers in the field, and they have probably spotted this thing, which makes it even more likely. It's good to have ground truth, right? We want to know. Radar's a great instrument, but it's even better to have human eyes on it. And again, this thing is not showing signs of lifting. It is, in fact, I'm certain it's still on the ground, actually. As seen here with this drop right here, this little, it's called a drop in CC. Let's, correlation coefficient, yep. And we can co-locate this with our little, our couplet here. This is debris aloft. This is above the ground. Again, correlation coefficient is a diagnostic product. That means there has to be an active tornado for you to see it. That is not the case for velocity. We can use velocity as a little bit of a predictor. We cannot use correlation coefficient like that. There has to be a tornado causing damage.
It just got extended.
And there is that new warning. There is that new warning for that tornado. We said it was going to happen, and here it is. We are now facing a tornado warning in western Georgia.
Chattooga and Walker.
Okay. All right. You said Chattooga and Walker. Okay. So, all right. So, tornado. Confirmed tornado warning. This is a tornado on the ground. This is for Walker County, southwestern Walker County, and northwestern Chattooga County in northwestern Georgia. This is a confirmed tornado. This is a particularly dangerous situation. My friends in Center Post, Treon, Somerville, you are on the very edge of this warning, but this is a very large tornado. Please take cover. Let's not take any chances here. Get in cover. You're on the edge, but you should be in cover. Center room, lowest floor of your house. If you can get into a storm cellar or a basement, that is optimal. You want to be underground. But don't worry, if you have no access to that, it's center rooms, you'll be fine. Kids, if they have bike helmets, put them on. Make sure that you can, get blankets or something to pad yourself if you are in the path of this tornado. This is a confirmed tornado. This warning is for, again, southwestern Walker County in northwestern Georgia and northwestern Chattooga County in northwestern Georgia. And this warning is until 1:15 a.m. So you are under this warning for quite a while. And unfortunately, this tornado is not moving fast. It is taking its time. It is only moving at 30 miles per hour. Yes, this wording from the National Weather Service is uh, is conveying a urgent tone. You guys need to be in cover. Center Post, Treon, and Somerville. Again, I apologize if I'm saying these Town names wrong. But if you understand the name of the town I'm saying, that's all I need you to know. I need you to get in cover. Uh, and let's call out some other names here. I'm using Google Maps for this, trying to transpose over here. Uh, Chelsea, Georgia, Cloudland, Georgia. Uh, you guys need to be in cover. I do think it's going to go north of you, but I cannot be certain. Uh, be in cover. Cloudland, Chelsea, Treon, even Pennville, Chestnut Flat. You guys are under this tornado warning. This is a particularly dangerous situation. It's a confirmed tornado about to cross the state line into western Georgia, northwestern Georgia. Folks, this is about as serious as it gets here. This is a confirmed, particularly dangerous situation. Tornado warning. This is a large, violent tornado. It has been confirmed not only by radar, but spotters have also seen this tornado. If you have any loved ones in that area on either side of the state line, even if they're in Alabama, this thing is still a threat for them. They are under the gun as well. But for our viewing area, we do have a confirmed tornado moving into the state of Georgia right now. The current time is 12:31 a.m. This warning is until 1:15 a.m. Again, the wording here, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado. It is moving due east at 30 miles per hour. Right now it's about 10 miles northeast of Fort Payne, Alabama. So it's yet to cross the state line. So where's our tornado? Let's take a little look at the let's take a little look here at this situation. I think it might be okay. Let's try to regroup here. Okay, hopefully this is broadening out. I do believe it is lifted temporarily. Let's keep our feet. Stay on our feet with this storm because it doesn't. It is still holding a classic supercell structure here. Um, and we zoom out on the state again. Let's step back. Let's take a big look here. Our severe thunderstorm warnings still in effect. But I am very concerned for our friends over here. Again, this is southwestern Walker County and northwestern Chattooga County. This is a confirmed tornado. It was at one point confirmed not only by radar but by spotters, by storm spotters in the field, by human eyes. They have seen this tornado, and it is a large tornado, or it was a large tornado at the time they saw it. It does look like this couplet is starting to lose its strength, but I cannot iterate enough. This can wrap back up quickly. It can drop quickly. You should, if you're in this warning, you should stay in your safe place. And I'm gonna call out a few names that are on Google Maps here. In the warning by the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, Somerville, Treon, Center Post, and Cloudland, Georgia. You are under this. You are under this warning. This is also including Chelsea, Georgia. I would even say Pennville. You guys need to. Be in your safe space. If you live near Wyatt Airport, you need to be in a safe space as well. Anywhere between these cities that I'm calling out, do the math. If you live in between these cities too, you need to be in a safe place. Our circulation continues to be evident right here on our velocity. Let me pull up reflectivity. I apologize. So this is our supercell. See, we have this nice hook echo, as it's called. It looks like a fish hook almost, where the back end of this storm is wrapping around. our tornado is likely in this area. As you can see here, this is correlating with this area of blues, or sorry, reds and greens. Red is away from the radar, green is towards the radar. And the current radar I'm looking at is the high top radar near Huntsville, Alabama, as it is the closest radar to this storm right now. Okay, so our area of interest is starting to cross the state line. Let me step away from this for just a second. Our friends in Helen, Cleveland, Clermont, Dahlonega, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning now. This was newly issued. Lumpkin County, White County, northwestern Dawson County, northeastern Hall County, and southern Union County. Again, Helen, Cleveland, Clermont, and Dahlonega. Very beautiful scenery up there, but we have the storm moving in. Make sure you're in your safe place. Again, Dahlonega, Cleveland, Dawsonville, Clermont, Helen, such as Unicoi State Park, Robertstown, Mossy Creek, and a bunch of mountains and state parks in that area, and Falls and Leaf, Turner's Corners, Salte, Gaddistown, I cannot say that lake name, Qualachi Lake, and McKee. Okay, I apologize, guys. I really do. Any of those areas, if you call it, here's the polygon for that severe thunderstorm. If you're inside of this area, please take shelter. Let's go back to our tornado warning that was previously confirmed by eyes on the ground here. We are starting to see this cross into Georgia. The front end of this storm is now completely in the state. The back end where the tornado would be is starting to cross the state line at this moment. So let's just keep an eye out on that. Let me call out the cities again. I cannot stress this enough. This thing has been seen. Cannot say whether it is still on the ground. It does not look like it is. That doesn't mean that there is not a significant amount of straight line winds with this, even non-tornadic winds. There could be some small hail as well with this storm. And see, here's our tornado train, right? There's warnings cropping up behind this one. Look at this. There's another storm around Hollywood, Alabama that's moving in this direction. So let's just, again, don't let your guard down. Just because this thing picks up for a second and slacks off does not mean it cannot get its act back together quickly. Our friends over here to the east, remember severe thunderstorm warnings. Just keep in touch with your situation that you're in. Make sure you have awareness of what's going on. And let's check our velocity once more. I do think that this thing has started to taper off. I think we've lost most of our lost a lot of our tornadic potential here, hopefully, for this moment. That does not mean to come out of your safe space. If you are within this polygon, you need to stay in your safe spot. It does look like there might be some kind of action going on here with this storm. I need to call out specific names once more here. Center Post, Treon, areas between Somerville and Treon, and a little bit north of there, specific names. We have Somerville, Treon, Center Post, and Cloudland. Also Chelsea, Georgia. If you live in Chelsea, Georgia, if you live near Wyatt Airport, you need to be in a safe space. I'm just trying to get familiar with this area just in case we need to convey something else with this warning. But for now, it looks like we have covered most of the people here. We're going to stay with this storm for a little bit longer. And I keep zooming in and out. I'm trying to get a little bit of awareness as to how this storm is evolving, if it's starting to ramp back up or not. So we still have this area of concern here crossing the state line right now. It is on top of the state line. If you live in southern Dade County, extreme southwestern Walker County, right at the state line, you are in the danger zone right now. This thing is right on top of you. You need to be in your safe space. If you are not under, if you know, there might not be a tornado on the ground, but there are certainly some strong winds occurring with this storm. I do think this storm is starting to lose its tornadic characteristics a little bit. Hopefully that's the case, but that does not mean it can't ramp back up quickly. And again, remember we have these over here that are coming down the pipeline behind this one. And again, our friends under the severe thunderstorm warnings over here, we have not forgot about you. Um, at this point, the most you can do is just let them roll through. There's nothing you can do. Buckle down, get in your safe spot, be there, and we'll keep you posted if anything else happens with these storms off to the east. And these are certainly under a lower tornado risk than these storms coming out of Alabama. So these are much less likely to produce a tornado. That doesn't mean they can't have a quick spin up, but it's not as likely as this intense supercell moving out of Alabama into southern Dade County and southwestern Walker County. And again, if you have family members, you need to tell them. I know it's late. I know they might be upset if you call them, but trust me, this is worth it. This is an intense situation. This tornado has been previously confirmed. I'm not here to say that it is still on the ground. As a matter of fact, it doesn't look like it is, but that does not mean that there is not still, again, even if there's not a tornado, you're still under the warning for one. You should respect it, but also there could be intense straight line winds with this storm as well. We need to watch this area here where this little green triangle is. This is starting to look like it might be wrapping up a little bit. Again, this is no warning to play with. This has been downgraded back to a radar indicated tornado. That means that they think also that it's not still on the ground. But that does not mean it cannot, again, get its act together and drop another tornado. Treon and center post, please pay attention to this. This storm as it progresses, and just a little bit of spatial awareness here. I do think this area of concern is actually skirting the northern edge of this polygon. I don't think, unless it really tightens and turns to the right, which they sometimes do, I don't think Treon is under as much of a threat as center post is. This thing is following the northern edge of this tornado warning polygon, the northern edge. And that'll be progressing across southern Walker County. And let's stay off the road between Mount Carmel and Center Post. If the thing continues on the path it's on, it will likely cross the roads in between Center Post and Mount Carmel. Let's kind of stay out of that area. This thing is almost completely into Georgia now. Actually, I will venture to say it is completely into Georgia. The mesocyclone is very evident on radar. It's still there. It is still rotating. The tornado risk is still with the storm. I do not think there is a tornado on the ground right now. But the reds and greens playing around with each other like this is not something to play around with. You should be taking this seriously. Let me push this down a little bit. Let's zoom out once more and just make sure we don't have any other warnings issued. It doesn't look like we do right now, but we need to pay attention to this storm moving out of Alabama into Georgia. That's done its transition across the state line. That warning in Alabama has been canceled, but the one for Georgia remains. We're watching this as it evolves, just to make sure that it's not going to produce again. That doesn't mean it won't. But right now, I think it is kind of taking a breather. And this was a this was a very serious situation in Alabama. There was a confirmed large and dangerous tornado on this storm, and it has only continued its path into Georgia. And we talked about this earlier, right? These are going to stay on this path. If you see it in Alabama, there is a chance that it could happen in Georgia right now, tonight at least. As these storms are on an eastern path. Let's check our severe thunderstorm warnings. They are still in place. It looks like no new ones yet. Although our friends in Clayton, Cornelia, Tallulah Falls, Clarksville, Toccoa, you guys should start preparing for these storms to move in. Good news for Blairsville, Hiawassee. You guys, the warning has been lifted for you. You guys are not under any warning right now. That is Blairsville and Hiawassee. Warning has been canceled. Warning has been canceled. Let's check on our storm over here. Our tornadic storm coming out of Alabama towards Center Post. And Treon, you are also in that polygon. Chelsea, Georgia. This is probably going to go north of you. And Somerville, this is going to go north of you. Cloudland, this will probably go north of you. Regroup here and check our group chat. The rest of the Weatherdawgs here helping me out tonight. Again, we have to give a shout out to them. They have been great keeping me aware of everything, because sometimes when you get on these streams, you don't realize that how fast things can happen. So it's great to have a team behind you. And I'm also checking on my own personal app to make sure that I can see a little bit of a different view of this storm on a phone screen, which is a little bit different than a computer screen. It does look like this thing is still rotating, and yeah, you can see it here. It's still certainly rotating. So we can't play around with this storm. It does have a history of a large and confirmed tornado in Alabama about 30 minutes ago. So let's keep up with this thing, and we can push through as it pushes through. And hopefully it'll be out here soon. Hopefully it'll weaken. Let me call out the cities in these severe thunderstorm warnings again. If you've yet to hear the wind pick up and the thunder, you are going to very soon. This is our friends over in Helen, Cleveland, Claremont, Dahlonega. This is for Lumpkin County, White County, northwestern Dawson County, northeastern Hall County, and southern Union County. You guys are under this severe thunderstorm warning. Dahlonega, Cleveland, Dawsonville, Claremont, Helen, Suches, and mountains and state parks around that area. Robertstown, Leaf, Turner's Corner, Salte, Gaddistown, and McKee. You guys are under this severe thunderstorm warning. And I have to say, as a meteorologist, I've been looking at this. I've been doing this for a little while now, and this warning here for LJ has really hung in there. I mean, this warning has been here for a long time, and this storm is very persistent. This is LJ Ramhurst. I venture to say Chatsworth, Eaton. You guys are out of this. This storm is now south of you. You are in the polygon, but a lot of this is south of you. Cherry Log, this is south of you, and it looks like you guys and LJ are on the northern edge of this. What I'm really interested in terms of this storm is this large pink area here. This is probably some small hail, maybe moderate-sized hail. But anywhere in this area could be some strong winds associated with these storms. I want to check back in on our tornado warned storm over here, approaching center post from the west. It still looks to be rotating, but I don't see any tightening here. I don't see any tightening. It is still only radar indicated, which means that it's rotating, but there's not a confirmed tornado on it. There is not a confirmed tornado on this storm right now. And we'll check our CC correlation coefficient. to see, and I don't see, here's our hook, I don't see any drops in correlation here, meaning I don't see any lofted debris right now. Um, I'll check again in a little bit, but right now we'll stick with velocity. Stick with velocity just to see what the storm is doing here. Very obviously still rotating west of center post. And again, I believe this road, let me get the name of this road, and I apologize again, this software doesn't exactly give me road numbers. If you, I'll be broad. If you are on a road driving between Center Post and Mount Carmel, you need to not be on that road. You need to find shelter very soon. This thing is approaching quickly from the west. You still have time. You just need to be getting out of there. Trying to get this a little bit better than what I'm doing right now. Again, I apologize for that little issue there with the roads. We're trying to, this is our first stream here like we're doing right now, so we'll try to get this kind of updated where we can get some road names here eventually. Again, between Center Post and Mount Carmel, this thing is about to cross any road between here. I believe this is, give me 1 second. I think, interesting. Okay. Type in some names here. All right, there we go. Okay. So yeah, this is starting to look like it may be wrapping up a little bit here west of center post, but I'm not 100% certain. Yeah, and again, this warning is until 1:15 a.m. Radar indicated rotation, tornado and half dollar sized hail, so some sizable hail too occurring with the storm. And remember, just because there's not a tornado on the ground doesn't mean you leave shelter. There's probably some pretty strong straight line winds associated with this thing. And the storm is even slower than what we've been seeing. It's sitting at 25 miles per hour right now. That is very slow.
Let's do some flash flood, please.
Got a new one?
Yeah.
All right, so we have a new flash flood warning here. For some areas already under the flash flood warning, but
Gilmer and Murray.
yeah, it's been extended to Gilmer and Murray counties. This now includes Cherry Log. Give me 1 second. Chatsworth, Ellijay, Eaton, East Ellijay, Mountain Town, Tells Creek, Fort Mountain State Park, Ramhurst, Cherry Log, Cartacay, Roy, Piskey, and North Georgia Speedway. You guys are under a extended flash flood warning.
No, there's severe thunderstorm warning.
And I'm getting news here that we just have a new severe thunderstorm warning as well. If you guys wait a second, it'll pop up here on the map, but I'm going to go ahead and give you some county names. It looks like we have Dawson, Gilmer, and Pickens County. So some of these areas, here's our warning right here. Oh, sorry about not seeing that. Again, Gilmer, southern Gilmer County, western Dawson County, Pickens County, a severe thunderstorm located over Talona, 8 miles northwest of Jasper, and it is moving east at 30 miles per hour. So this storm is severe. We're looking at, let me find the data on it. 60 mile per hour winds and quarter-sized hail. So be in a safe space, away from windows. Good news, and y'all saw that right as I zoomed over here. So this tornado warning has been cropped to the north. Our friends in Center Post, you are still under the gun from this storm. I do think this thing is still rotating rapidly. There's the intense rotation here to the west of Center Post, and we need to be in a safe space. This storm is not, it's still rotating, and that's enough. Let me check my other app here just to be certain on what this thing is doing. And again, I use this app. I don't want you to think I'm like staring at my phone. I'm just using this app because it gives my eyes a better view of what is going on with this thing. Um, so I can relay that to you. So yeah, it looks like the rotation is quite broad still, but I do want to stress there is some very strong wind occurring with this thing, with this storm. A very strong wind northwest of center post especially. And I finally have the name of this road here. I keep referring to it. This is a state. Think State Route 337. State Route 337. If you were on this road, 337 between Center Post and Mount Carmel, this thing is approaching that area rapidly. I know it's only moving at 25 miles per hour, but I mean, uh, you're already feeling the effects of the front end of this thing now. All this air being ingested into this storm. It can cause trouble for those of you driving on the highway, especially if you have a large vehicle. Winds can push that over very easily. Looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Wow, this thing is massive. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Look again at these warnings. So we have severe thunderstorm warnings spanning almost continuously from Chatsworth to South Carolina. In this new one now, we called these towns out earlier. I'm glad we did because you are now under this severe thunderstorm warning. This is Tallulah Falls, Clarksville, Demarest, Cornelia, Toccoa, Martin, Livonia, even as far south as Carnesville. Carnesville, I apologize. If you live north of Carnesville, you are in this area. This storm is approaching from the west. Let's read the details here about this warning. Northern Franklin County, Stevens County, Habersham County, southwestern Rabun County, northern Hart County, west central Anderson County, southwestern Pickens County, Oconee County. These are Oconee County meaning South Carolina. I do apologize. I know there's one south of Athens as well. Let me rephrase this. For the Georgia counties under the warning are northern Franklin, Stevens, Habersham, southwestern Rabun, and northern Hart in Georgia. So this extends from our previous warning to the South Carolina And again, city names here: Toccoa, Seneca, Walhalla, Clarksville, Cornelia, Baldwin, Westminster, Reed Creek, Livonia, and Gumlog. You are under this new warning. Be in a safe place. And our persistent little storm over here near Mount Carmel now is still rotating. It just will not give up. I don't think it has a tornado on the ground, but it is certainly wrapped up and rotating. That is for sure. It is a persistent storm. It just doesn't want to give up. But we can be happy because I don't think it has a tornado on the ground. It's all bark and no bite, but I promise you this thing is producing some strong winds though. If you are in this polygon, this storm is not severe warned in terms of a severe thunderstorm, but it does have a tornado warning on it. If you are within this polygon, you need to take this seriously. I imagine this has some very strong winds with it. Center post and points north, you are right in the crosshairs of this hook of this supercell is about to cross. Let me give the name of the road again. I have it here on this app. This is about to cross 337 north of Center Post. This is about to cross with some pretty intense winds associated with this hook echo. I want to again stress the importance of being aware of these flash flood warnings that are occurring here as well. These will only be pushed east, I believe. I'm pretty sure some areas over here especially as how slow these storms are moving as well. With these storms aren't moving fast at all. And this is also being talked about in our some of our group chats here at the University of Georgia about how these storms are training across northern Georgia here, producing very strong precipitation and not moving fast at all. Just again, keeping an eye here on this storm in this tornadic storm here in western Georgia near Center Post. Center Post, you were under the gun of this tornadic thunderstorm. This has a history of producing tornadoes. A tornado has been spotted with this storm. It was in Alabama, but that does not mean it cannot produce another. There is still a warning. It lasts until 1:15 a.m. I believe it's 1:15. Let me check just to be sure. Okay, yes, so 1:15 a.m. Yes, so a tornado warning remains in effect until 1:15 a.m. for southwestern Walker, north central Chattooga counties in northwestern Georgia. As of 12:53 a.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located just west of Center Post. Again, we keep calling out Center Post because you guys are right under this thing right now. It's crossing the road north of Center Post and in between Mount Carmel. It is skirting the northern edge of this polygon here. It is riding this northern edge. Uh, Folks south of this storm, you might be in the polygon. I'm pretty certain this thing is going north of you guys. Uh, that does not mean you do not. That doesn't mean you don't respect the polygon. Make sure you stay in your safe space for a little bit longer here. I heard the what are they saying?
No, that's just her old ones.
Oh.
They were all here.
Guys, I'm gonna take a second to regroup here and check. I keep checking my app. I just like the color scheme a little bit better. I hate to say it. It looks like this thing is. This is just a persistent storm. It doesn't want to stop rotating. It's continuing to rotate. It's just not dropping a tornado. Let's zoom back out to our big picture. Okay, so we had another warning canceled here. LJ, you guys are not under a warning anymore. Our friends in LJ Chatsworth, the only warning you are under is a flash flood warning. That is still important. So make sure that you heed flood precautions because you guys are still under the flash flood warning. And bringing up the tail end of this whole shebang is our little tornadic storm over here. I say little, it's quite a big storm, but persistently rotating. I am actually very interested to see what the National Weather Service is going to do with this thing because it keeps rotating, but it's not producing. We shall see if they extend this warning. I don't want to call out any names yet. I don't want to cause concern. But if you live east of Center Post, be prepared. This thing is moving into your area. And towns east of this polygon and potentially in this area here north and east of this polygon, you might be under a warning here soon. Especially how far north this thing is in this polygon. It's not really following the center line. It's more on the northern end of this polygon. Alright, it seems to be moving very close to the end of this thing. So they're going to have to make a decision here soon about whether to extend this or to cancel it. We'll see what they do. But as for our severe thunderstorm warnings, they continue for the areas called out earlier. And we will go through those in a second here as to who is under the gun with that. Alright. And it looks like our storms in Alabama are also starting to calm down, thankfully. Just a wild night, especially in Alabama, with these storms that had some significant tornadoes on them. Let's see. I'm sure the folks at Peachtree City are really thinking about this right now, especially this tornadic storm. Because it looks, I mean, it still has the menacing look to it, but it really is, it's just producing wind at this point. It seems like this couplet isn't very impressive at all. This is more of a outflow dominant storm. Even it doesn't look like it's producing a tornado right now, but we should still respect the polygon. Let's stay in our safe place for a little bit longer. I know, again, it's hot, it's late, probably tired and want to sleep, but we need to take this seriously. And I'll just keep this zoomed out a little bit, and we'll keep an eye on the storm. Again, I'm not that impressed with it, but the couplet has moved to the very edge of this polygon. This is our warning. This is our area of concern here. The couplet, if there is a tornado, it would be to the south and east of Mount Carmel. It'd be in this area right here where this green and red is touching, where my mouse is circling here. This is where our tornado would be if it is there. And again, I don't think it is, and I believe this reflectivity image is behind the velocity image right now. That's why it looks a little off. Hopefully that'll catch up soon. Let's just keep an eye on it. And once this warning goes away, we'll probably just cut to a little bit of a break again and just let you guys see the radar. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued. This is for northern Banks County in northeastern Georgia and northeastern Hall County in north central Georgia. And this is for Homer, Baldwin, Lula, Alto, I believe it's Alto, Claremont, Raoul, Pinefield, Crossroads, and Hollingsworth. You guys are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. This storm has 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and, again, small hail with it. And again, let's not lose situational awareness here. We do have storms forming around the Gainesville area now. And this may proceed to continue building down to the south. The model certainly showed some southern building, but luckily I think this is going to stay a more North Georgia situation until later on tonight, early into the morning hours. Let's check our tornado warning here. Yeah, so this again is in effect until 1:15. Yeah, this might be extended, might not. I'm not sure yet. Oh, I didn't even see that. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning on the tornadic storm here that still has this tornado warning until 1:15. I do believe this couplet is out of this warning. I don't think this warning is. Give me one second, Leah. Are they saying anything about it? This thing is moved out of the warning.
Severe.
They just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for it.
Yeah. For these times.
It's a tornado possible tag.
Yeah.
Tornado warning.
Did you get that one? Banks and Hall.
Yeah, that's the new one.
That one.
Oh, and they expanded to the one south.
Which would be that one, right?
Yes. The Banks and Hall is the one that went south. So they're not talking about. Okay, so anyways, I think the concern as far as tornado potential goes has moved out of this warning polygon. Center post, I know you guys were really under the gun. It has moved well to your east now. I don't think you're under any threat anymore. But there is now a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm this is for south central Whitfield County, southeastern Walker County, northwestern Gordon County. The severe thunderstorm was located near Center Post or near Lafayette, moving east at 30 miles per hour. We got 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and towns impacted: Lafayette, Naomi, Tilton, and there goes our tornado warning. Our tornado warning is gone. Suttles Mill and Villanelle. I do want to stress this does have a tornado possible tag on it, and that is because of this couplet here. And again, we've been talking about the storm now for it seems like forever, but this thing is certainly persistent. It's stubborn. It's still rotating. and there is a tornado possible tag. That just means be on the lookout. This could be warned again very quickly, but it is approaching an area of lower tornado risk for sure. I just want to be stressed out this warning here. This thing is warned, very strong winds still occurring, strong straight line winds. And since we don't have any tornado warnings, again, I'm going to park this for another quick break. It is getting quite late. We're just going to take a little bit of a break here. And just before I do that, I want to point out this tornadic storm moving, following a similar path to the one over here where it's moving close to the state line. Just keep an eye on it, and we will let you know if any updates happen. And I'm going to leave you again with the radar here while we kind of reorganize and see where this system is headed over the next few hours. If tornado potential drops significantly, will likely result to posting on Twitter about these severe thunderstorm warnings, as tornadoes are the big threat, and they are very dynamic. Severe thunderstorm warnings, as you can see, they're lasting a while. The storms are big, they affect a lot of people, and they last a long time. So they're a little bit easier to track, but they are still dangerous. So tornadoes are the more difficult phenomenon. So again, I'll leave you guys with the radar here for just a little bit while we reassess, and we'll be back in a little bit, and we'll either decide to continue to stream or we'll cut the stream off, and you might see us again in the morning if we have another tornado threat, but likely I think it's starting to wind down, thankfully. So yeah, alrighty. Alright, so we are back here. We are about to go ahead and call the stream because the National Weather Service has just issued a severe thunderstorm for this previously tornadic storm moving out of Alabama. And that means that they are not confident that this is going to produce a tornado anytime soon. There is a tornado possible tag on this severe thunderstorm here. Again, this is moving out of Alabama into Georgia. Center Post, Treon. This is almost, I think this is the same polygon from the, well, it's very similar to the one from the last storm. So this is Center Post, Treon, south of Mount Carmel, and north of Somerville. Again, this is for this storm moving out of Alabama here. We can go ahead and call city names. This is until 2:15 a.m. This is for a 60 mile per hour wind gust, quarter size hail. Again, Somerville, Treon, Center Post, Subligna, and Sybil's Mill. This is until 2:15 a.m. At 1:25 a.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Mentone, or 13 miles northeast of Fort Payne, and this is moving east at 35 miles per hour. Again, this is our situation tonight. I mean, look at the size of these flash flood warnings. So these storms are moving almost due east in a lot of cases. You can see a little bit of a southern bow here, but for the most part, they are training, and what that means is they're building on top of each other. So this storm here will move out, and then you'll get this one. So they're moving due east. And again, this is a new warning for our friends in Dawsonville, Dahlonega, Silver City. The warning has been lifted for you. This storm has weakened below severe limits. Again, we'll move over here to, we're in a bit of a radar hole here. This part of the problem right here in this area. It's pretty far away from every radar, but a lot of these storms have moved out of severe limits. Just do a quick scan across all of these here once more. And so keep an eye out for these severe warnings, and I'm going to go ahead and do one last quick run through on our model here. Model run here. We'll use pivotal weather. And we'll run through the HRRR model, the HER, or the high resolution rapid refresh. We'll just do a quick look through the setup out until tomorrow morning. Let's go one run back to, let's see where the latest is. We'll just do this one, and then we'll go to Georgia. I apologize. Let's go to southeast, and then we'll push this through. Again, here's our current storm. So this is the previous run. These storms push through. You see these storms here. This is what currently is going on. And then a little bit of a clearing, a little bit of a break, and then we have a second line of storms coming through tomorrow, or in a little while. This is later tomorrow morning. We have this strong or intense line of storms pushing through. Probably lots of straight line wind. There's a lot of instability in the atmosphere, storm fuel in the atmosphere for these storms to thrive on. The only cells that I am immediately concerned about are these little chunks out front of this line that could possibly pose a small tornado risk. So we'll keep an eye on those. Although the wind shear or change in wind with height in the atmosphere, the profiles are more supportive of linear storms like this one here that you see on the map. So we'll keep that in mind. My name is Kyle Brooks. It has been a pleasure helping you guys out tonight, and we are going to end the stream now and go home and go to sleep. Y'all have a good night.